Hello, everyone. You are listening to Your Palm Beach Guide with the Palm Beach Chamber of Commerce. My name is Kiana Rivera, and I'm the Vice President of Membership Development and Programming at the Chamber. And today, our very special guest is Todd Fleming. He is a very near and dear friend of mine, so I'm excited to interview you.
Well, I'm happy to be here. Thank you. And the friendship is quickly growing and expanding, so appreciate the opportunity to come in.
Absolutely. So real quick, we're going to read a couple sentences from your bio, and then we'll just jump right in.
Yeah,
so
sounds great.
Fleming joined the PGA Tour and the Cognizant Classic in the Palm Beaches as Vice President and Executive Director in February 2024. So really not that long ago. Prior to joining the PGA Tour, Fleming served as Senior VP Global Sales for Legends, which is a full-service agency with over 3,000 full-time employees and over 30,000 employees worldwide. Fleming, on behalf of Legends, defined and established new partnerships internationally and domestically across the professional sports and event hospitality landscape with the focus on maximizing revenue generation. While at Legends, Fleming oversaw the partnerships with Football Club Barcelona. Holy cow. We're going to talk about that.
Yep.
Atletico de Madrid and AS Roma. Roma, right? Yes. In addition to these industry-changing projects internationally, Fleming has played a critical role domestically within a myriad of sports and entertainment properties and partnership inclusive of the USTA, the USGA, SoFi Stadium, perfect, Allegiant Stadium, George M. Steinbrenner Field renovation for the New York Yankees, Circuit of the Americas, and Lower.com Stadium, home to the Columbus Crew Soccer Club. Holy moly. That's just so much, so much. I'm going to jump real quick to, I see the Cowboys. Like prior to joining the Charlotte Bobcats organization, Fleming held the position of sales manager for the Dallas Cowboys and Cowboys Stadium. In this role, Fleming was responsible for the development of a sales staff, the sale of season tickets, club seats, and suites for the Cowboys. And Cowboys Stadium holds the distinction of being the largest sports sales project in the industry. Okay, let's just talk about the Cowboys real quick. Are you a Cowboys fan?
I am. I am a Cowboys fan.
Oh my goodness. Well, let me start there. That's where I want to start with.
Okay.
So when you joined this team, being a fan, and you came onto this organization, what was it like? Well,
I mean, reading the bio, it always takes me back. I've been very, very fortunate to just be part of some really cool things around the globe. And I tell everybody, it's like I've done just enough to keep my foot out of my mouth that people keep me around and generated some revenue along the way. But, you know, having a lifelong dream of working for the Cowboys and more importantly, working for the Jones family, it's just significantly different than any other experience that I've had. And the reason why is that Jerry and his family treat the organization like it's their family business, right? And so that personal touch of seeing them every single day, having access to them understanding what you're going through and asking questions about, hey, how can we help you? How can we help you further your portion of the business? I mean, I was blown away by how hands-on and how interactive they have been. So, you know, we need a few more wins on the field. Candidly.
I have to shameless plug my team. So I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
Oh, okay. So we got a good rivalry.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And it's so fun because when hearing your story of working for like your dream football team, I was in college and for my PR class, which made me switch my major to PR, I got to represent a sports team and I picked the Steelers. I was their like press person, PR person. And I kid you not, I changed my major after I completed that course to PR because I was the fake press person for the Steelers. And all I could think about was like, oh my gosh, if I ever got this job in real life, what would it be like? So
well,
that's awesome.
you showed your intelligence because you picked winners, right? So Steelers is obviously a historic organization. I grew up in Ohio.
Okay.
So Ohio is mainly Browns, some Bengals, but a lot of Steelers fans. My oldest son, who was born in Ohio, is a Steelers fan. So
there we go.
I know all the history about it, and I love the rivalry between them and the Cowboys. It's just, you know, when you see those two color combos on the field together, you get taken back. So it's fun.
That.
Yeah.
Well, and so Todd, now that let's transition into what we're talking about today. I just want to say that when I first got to meet you and we just had this amazing conversation of what you're doing at PGA, I was excited about all the future projects you got going on. And really, you joined in February. That's not that long ago. What is it, less than 7 months now?
Yeah, well, it's coming up on 9 months probably in total. But I mean, you hit on something is I was really excited to get into the game of golf and live entertainment a little bit further, mainly because again, golf prior to COVID was changing. And I think you can see people's expectations of what does it mean to go to a live event was starting to change then, and then COVID accelerated it. And so golf was really the only thing that we could do together or outdoors during that awkward time of COVID. So it's been this future kind of transformation of the game and how people can participate in it. Well, that now is kind of coming into manifestation in and around our event in Palm Beach County, right? And so to be a part of that, kind of transition into PGA Tour controlling the event, and then to try to put my fingerprints on where do we want this to go from here, and have a vision about how do we make it intrinsically even more hyper local, so that way it's ours for the future. It's been a lot of fun. Now, I along the way, I've probably taken on a lot more than what I probably should have in a rebrand and issuing 3 RFPs at the same time. But it's been a lot of fun to try to get ingrained into this marketplace. And I would say I'm pleasantly surprised with how people have been open arms. And I'm really excited about what we're going to have in February when people get to show up and see some of the new structures and see the new experience that we've created.
Well, and tell me a little bit about how you took your past work experience and put in that practice to the project you're working on now.
Yeah, I think I've come from a background, again, from the agency space or on the team side. It's a lot of data and analytics, right? Really reading the data and listening to people of what do they expect out of their partnerships? What do they expect out of their financial, engagements? And really, what are their objectives of why do I spend my money or spend my time coming to sporting events? And so what I'm trying to do, I did a lot of that in February. My first full week on the job was tournament week in 2024. So
what a way to start. Throw you in.
What a way to get thrown to the wolves. And we had rounds of darkness and obviously the rain delay and a Monday finish. So I think we've got a game plan for the future for when this happens again. But I tried to listen to as many people as I could to just, why were you participating? What was your experience like? And what really came about is that we were missing a few experiences that this marketplace lends itself towards. And then it was backed up by obviously the conversations that I had. So what I did is I started to set out, first and foremost, is we didn't look like Palm Beach. And I've shared this with you a couple of different times, is that the biggest takeaway for me was golf course, beautiful, people having a great time. We can't screw that up, right? Those are things that we have to continue to carry that tradition on. But the way the structures were built, the way that they looked, just didn't fit my vision for what we need to be in Palm Beach. And it was mainly because the brand that I want us to have is a very structured type of event, but at the same time, very unique in our color and our patterns, and how do we put on an experience every 6 holes for everybody. So what I set out to do is a complete rebrand. So we set out to find a new exterior builder, a new interior design firm, and a new food and beverage partner. And at the same time was a rebrand of our brand of what does it mean to be a PGA Tour event, and how does that benefit Cognizant, and how does it directly impact our community. So that's where we came up with this color palette and this neighborhood concept that people are going to be surprised to see. And then on TV, it's really going to pop. So it's going to be befitting of, where are we? Where's the tournament this week? Oh, we're in Palm Beach.
Absolutely.
So it gives us kind of that global kind of footprint
which is what
for
you're
the
going
expansion.
for anyway. Like, you have top athletic players coming here, and you're in Palm Beach anyway. So it makes sense. And when you showed me the renderings, I just was like, what a breath of fresh air. I'm so ready to experience it.
And a little bit of the backdrop is less is more. Right.
You don't need to go over the top to get your point across.
That's right. And inside of the world of business too, it's like you're starting to see in the world of hospitality and where businesses spend their money. They don't need 20, 30, 40 tickets any longer. That was more of a 90s and early 2000s type of concept. Now businesses are seeing, if I have anywhere between this 4 to 15 to 16 type of products and experiences, that makes it, I get really dialed in on who am I going to entertain, how am I going to entertain, and what is the end result that I want out of that entertainment, and how is that event helping me solve those objectives? And
I think too, you touched on that of entertaining. They bring donors, they bring their people with the goal of entertaining them. And I love that you have that in mind, because so many people look past that. You're like, I just got to put on this event. I got to execute it. But now it's like, no, you're going to do a full experience that includes not only your donor, but also the guests that are coming, whether you're top tier or you're just a general admission ticket.
That's exactly right. I really learned that. So, I mean, again, on the bio, I couldn't put every project that I worked on.
No, well, tell me some.
I was a part of the Legion Stadium and working on behalf of the Las Vegas Raiders on bringing Allegiant Stadium out of the ground. Well, when you're in Vegas, you have to go to all of the casinos, right? It's almost like you got to go see the 5 families, right? And you got to figure out how to do it all at the same time. And so, but what the casinos really taught me through the discussions was, how do they view business entertainment? And they have A players, they have B players, they have C players, they have hotel guests, and they have food and beverage clients that all utilize their property for a myriad of different reasons. Well, when they were thinking about how do they participate inside of the stadium for entertainment, they were very strategic about which tickets and which experiences were going to be set forth towards who. So now fast forward to what we have, which we have an advantage over stadiums and arenas because they're going to have anywhere between 20 to, Madison Square Garden will have probably 300 events on an annualized basis. Business entertainment looks different in those venues. We have a very nice 5-day week, right? So, or 7-day week. So we have events on Monday, we have events on Tuesday, we have events on Wednesday that can all be set aside for a specific segment of that person's business. Then you have the actual tournament days of Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we set up perfectly for how businesses think, or how human beings think about what my entertainment is. I have business development, I have client retention, I have some of the political and philanthropy things that we need to do. And then we have employee morale. So if you just help them understand how can you use each of these days to solve those objectives for your business, then we are putting ourselves in position to not only have a great event, but a better partnership, right? And a partnership that's really centered around how are we helping you solve your objectives all 12 months out of the calendar year, where the tournament is an aspect of that. So that's all of the data and analytics and a little bit of the global landscape and footprint of my experience that I have that I'm trying to bring into our tournament, and really helping us coach individuals of how to use the tournament to help them solve their initiatives.
Exactly. And I think you really bring up a great point, because it's about re-education of how can you use this specific space to tackle whatever you're trying to tackle. So when you mentioned that earlier, whether it is employee morale or you're going with big donors, you have 2 separate things you need to touch on, but 2 separate experiences that fit that type of moment in time. So I love that you, and truthfully, since I met you in February or a couple months ago, you've really hit the ground running with re-education, which I think is so important. You lay the groundwork, and you are re-educating people. You're re-educating the public. Like, you're calling this event a neighborhood event, because it is that, and you're really coming in on the fact that you're getting all of these local partnerships, but you're saying, no, we're a global, we are a global destination. And
well, the county is intrinsically, and obviously Palm Beach and the island is leading in that, and then now West Palm Beach with the development that's happening, it's leading it. So we are a global kind of destination to begin with. The tournament needs to slot into that, right? And but more importantly to me, it was, I've hit the ground running because look, there's a ton of intelligent human beings here, ton of businesses that are thriving, but we also have this new segment of individuals and businesses that are moving here. So they know the experiences from wherever they have come from. The education is a little bit more for those new kind of organizations and companies that have come into the marketplace to say, here's how you utilize us, right? And here's how we can help you acclimate as quickly as possible into the county and into the landscape. But also at the same time, I've put together a team of individuals that are new. Right. And we have such wonderful people in this marketplace. The best way for us to make an impact, the best way for people to understand that, hey, we're good people that have a vision, and we're not always going to align on things, but we're going to listen and try to figure it out, is to make sure that we're showing up and being present at as many events as we can. So putting a lot of miles on my car, which is good. And I'm seeing a lot of the different portions of the county, but I'm enjoying it all. And it's been a lot of fun to meet the people that I have.
Oh, that's so good. Well, real quick, you're listening to your Palm Beach guide with the Palm Beach Chamber of Commerce, and our special guest today is Todd Fleming. And again, just thank you for just a quick overview of, where you've been and all that experience that you brought to the table. I want to transition real quick. Let's talk specifically about the tournament. And let's talk about just if you can share some of the partnerships you've made already, like kind of plug some friends.
No, we've been fortunate, right? We inherited a tournament that's got good bones, and ultimately what I'm trying to do is modernize that and sophisticate it to a certain extent. But we have a ton of local support. So we have great partners as TBC Corp. Yep. We have great partners in FPL. Good. We have great partners in Tito's that obviously has a very massive local presence, and so we're out there with the best of the best that we have in our marketplace, and they're not only helping us in regards to kind of the activations and the awareness, they're lending some of their people obviously to help us preach the message and further what we want to get across. Obviously, the Chamber has been a good partner. You've invited me to a lot of things, which has been beneficial. So it's partnerships in that scenario that I think are going to continue to push us to the forefront. Now, on the go forward, one of the things that if you're coming to a live event, one of the biggest takeaways, whether you're there for a couple hours or you're there at a golf tournament for 8 to 10 hours per day, one of the biggest takeaways or one of your experiences that you'll remember the most is your food and beverage. What did I eat? What did I drink? Right? Because golf is golf, and your favorite golfer may not tee off until later in the afternoon, but you're out there at 10 o'clock in the morning. And so what am I eating? What am I drinking? What are the experiential side of my participation in the event? So we have some really great local companies that are now going to be our partners and vendors that are going to help us pull off, the experience side that everybody from the grounds all the way up into the hospitality can experience. So I'll start at the hospitality side. Okay. The resort itself has a Michelin star restaurant and a Michelin star chef, as well as a James Beard. I think she won a couple months ago, a James Beard award-winning chef.
That's a big deal.
That were never engaged inside of the tournament experience. And so what I've done is I've gone to their management team. Fortunately, they're repped by the same individual.
Oh, good.
He's incredible to work with out in New York, and we hit it off great. So Chef Ford and Chef Lindsay and their restaurants, Honey Bell and the Butcher's Club, are now going to play a part inside of our hospitality experience for certain experiences inside of the hospitality. So again, think about high quality food as well as locally sourced and locally driven by local chefs. That makes us very unique. Now, but we didn't stop there. I've got this neighborhood concept and I took a step back and said, our county is bigger than Rhode Island. Why would somebody from Boca, why would somebody from Wellington, why would somebody from Jupiter, why would somebody from even the opposite end of Palm Beach Gardens, why would they come spend a day or a week with us? Well, they will if we have their restaurant, we have their pub, we have their specialty item. Exactly. We have something that is intrinsically feels like it's theirs. So I set out on this path to try to put together as many different vendors as we could. The one that I'll share, I'm really excited about this because it ties into something. Is this
breaking news?
It is breaking news.
Breaking news.
I wanted to save it for here. So Chickmunk Estate Coffee on the island. So, which is a fascinating story about how that business has come through. It started inside of the incubator in the 1909. They've now branched out. They've got a very popular spot there, obviously on the island.
Dondini and her husband are amazing. I can tell you, us Chamber girls frequent Chickmunk a lot.
I am going. I live in Jupiter. I'm now going out of my way to make sure that I get my coffee in the morning from them.
Absolutely.
But we have partnered together. So they are now going to come inside of the tournament. Wow. They're going to be in two very strategic locations. They're going to be on the driving range.
Wow.
Again, what do golfers need in the morning?
Coffee.
What are the individuals coming to our event need early in the morning as they're getting ready to watch a 7:05 tee time? Coffee.
That's awesome.
So they deliver some of the best coffee that I've had, and I'm married to a Colombian woman, right? So they are going to help us on the driving range, and then they also have a location on hole 18. So as you're matriculating around the course, even whether it's hot, whether it's it's chilly in the morning, they're going to have us sourced for the right types of coffee and help us deliver that type of experience. And intrinsically on my end, I get the benefit of helping an organization,
community.
a local company kind of further expand and get the reach out there. So that way those that aren't necessarily on the island now understand when I'm there, that's a place that I go. So you will start to see announcements of us over the course of time that are really leaning into chefs, leaning into restaurateurs or business owners in the marketplace, and having them come inside and help us deliver a truly Palm Beach experience.
Well, I have to commend you because that's awesome. That partnership and you're making it a taste of home, especially for the golfers. So I think like you're getting the local community involved, but also when those guys are out there playing, it's like, oh, who is this? Like, this is from our town. This is from our community. That's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, we have 85 tour card holding members that live in our county. Right. And again, so there's equally as good coffee shops anywhere that you go, right? And there's great experiences everywhere. But a lot of them venture to the island. A lot of them will venture to restaurants that are here on PGA Boulevard. We'll have something out of Boca. We'll have food options and an experiential elements inside the tournament from Jupiter. Now when the players or fans that come into our marketplace for the tournament, when they come back because they want to go to the Breakers or they want to go experience something at the Boca Raton, right? So when they're coming back, they now say, hey, I saw that at the tournament. I tasted it. I had it. I'm going to go out of my way to be there. And again, that's how we take something that is really hyper local and continue to impact it from a global standpoint. What does it mean to come to a live event? And we can set the standard for that.
Well, and I love that. And then tell me too, especially because you've been in this transition of a rebrand, you've been in this transition of steps forward to take the tournament to a next level. What would you say to the person who's been going for the last, 9, however long this thing has been happening? What would you say to them? Be like, come out and try us. Like, what does that speech look like? I
think it's exactly that. I've had that conversation a lot, right?
Sure,
because change is not a. I would stop short of saying it's a dirty word. It's not easy, right?
It's not easy.
And particularly, I've leaned so heavily into change that I hope people don't feel like I'm ruining their tournament experience. We're going to build in very similar places. What we're going to be building is just elevated. And what I mean by that is structurally sound, closer to the tee boxes, closer to the green types of experiences. Then you come inside the interiors. The interiors are going to look more and more like really nice restaurants, high-end social clubs that we go to, lobbies of some of the best resorts that we have in our marketplace. We've really scoured the marketplace to ensure that the interior-wise is befitting of the experience. If you're going to purchase or spend time in these scenarios, it needs to be built structurally sound, and I need to get you as close to the action as we potentially can. And then at the same time, I got to deliver an experience internally that is befitting of why would I leave my house?
Exactly. I'm so glad you said that.
Because again, I haven't been in many houses here. I've been in an office and in my house, but I would assume with understanding who our marketplace is, we like finer things. We like nice things. We like modern kind of aspects of design. How can the tournament mimic that? And so those are the things that I would say to an individual, say, give us a chance. I want the onus of us delivering on your behalf because I believe that we have the right team and the right kind of infrastructure to do that. And when we do, then let's talk about how we make this a multi-year partnership on the go forward.
Well, and I love that you said that too, because I think we went through similar experiences at the Chamber, and it was very much, we changed it. We did. We took a chamber, we flipped it upside down, shook it out, and put it back together. And I kid you not, the hate that we received was overwhelming. And mind you, we have 800 members, and there's 3 of us, okay? 3 out of 800. And it's just like you're getting hit on every side. And all we wanted was to make the experience better. Because I say this all the time, we compete for everybody's time. In the marketplace we live in, with friends, with family, everybody chooses something over something else.
That's right.
And people cannot forget about that. You have to make your experience worth me leaving my house, me not spending time with my family, me not going to the beach, whatever it is, you have to make me want to make that choice.
That's exactly right.
And that is that's on the person that's putting on the event. That's on the organization. So I love that you have that mindset because you understand this is where we are. this is the expectation our people have, and you're willing to take those steps to make it.
Yeah, you got to take risks, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and again, like the evolution and the elevation of the tournament is not meant to be derogatory or negative against what was going on.
Right.
It was terrific. But everything needs to change.
Always.
Right. And I've shared with a bunch of people, I'm gonna look at this and I'm gonna analyze what we're doing, and I'm gonna make changes every year. We can't stand pat. Our marketplace doesn't stand pat. As a business, you should never stand pat, because if we stand down and just continue to deliver over and over, it becomes old. It becomes boring.
Old.
And it becomes, I've done that. I don't ever want our marketplace to ever wake up and say, well, I've done that before,
Exactly.
so now I've got a decision to make. I always want to try to continue to push something new, expand an experience, bring in a different chef, bring in a different restaurant,
Right.
so that way we can continue to stay on the front foot, not on the back foot. But it is also too, like, I don't say all of that to assume that we're going to be for everybody. I understand people
Right.
need to make decisions about their finances and their businesses and what is acceptable for them, and I don't take any of that personally. But for me, I've moved my family here, right? And I've got 2 high school age kids that are left, so I've made a commitment to making sure that this works. And so I just, to your point earlier, I just give us a shot.
Right.
I want the onus on us to deliver. I believe that we can, and when we do, then let's build this together.
Exactly.
And what do we do next together? And so I'll share a story with you, how I know it will work.
Right.
I've spent a lot of time in Europe. Obviously, you read off some of the clubs that I've worked for. I live there. And so it is very unique inside of the world of international football. Most people don't truly understand what a club means in international football. That means the fans own the club.
Wow.
And it means, your president, your CEO, some of the executive board, they are all voted into office. So when you're inside of that environment, making decisions on new experiences, making decisions on stadium renovations, making decisions on raising a ticket by €1 could all get you fired and pushed out of office.
Wow.
Right? And so in each of those clubs that you mentioned, we were able to make significant changes in just refining the business practice and working through the supporter groups, working through kind of the fandom and working through the business community over the course of time to show them the benefit of how this was going to impact them in a positive way,
Right.
and being honest with where we needed to say change needed to happen.
Right.
We were able to do that. And if you look at what Barcelona is doing now, they are tearing down, the old stadium, leaving the original 2 rings, and basically building a new stadium on top of it with an additional 2 rings. That doesn't happen
Overnight.
If you see what Tottenham built, you see what Liverpool from a renovation standpoint is going through, Man United, what Everton just built. Real Madrid, which is also a client of the agency that I was a part of, FC Barcelona, and Atletico Madrid, and what AS Roma is going to try to challenge themselves to do. The landscape in Europe is starting to change because people understand stadiums drive economic impact. I want to be there. My fandom is more important than anything else.
Right.
And if this is positively impacting the club and change, then I'm on board. That gives me hope that we can do that in this marketplace that's been so intrinsically tied to a successful way of doing business for 20 years, 20 plus years. I'm just trying to build upon that and modernize it and give them the experiences and give them the elements inside of our tournament that they can continue to be proud about, so that way we have this for the next 30 years.
Right. Well, I can tell you, I'm excited.
Good.
And I'm ready. I'm ready to experience it. And I think just another testament to you and your integrity. You're a good listener. And then you take what you've heard and you act upon it. And that is a great quality. That
my wife would probably challenge you on that comment, but inside of business, I try. Inside of business, I try to do that as best as I can. So thank you for that compliment.
Oh, of course. Well, Todd, thank you for joining us today. I'm pumped. And real quick, where can we learn more about everything?
Yeah, no, great. So nice shameless plug.
I know, sorry, shameless plug.
So the tournament is going to be it's the week of February 24th through March the 2nd. Tournament dates are February 27th through March the 2nd. But we have activities that entire week. So you can visit thecognizantclassic.com to learn more about the hospitality options as well as our grounds passes. The bear trap has been elevated for 2025.
Did you hear that, everybody?
And I will tell you what I mean by that. So I don't want people showing up at our event that are inside of structures having to dip inside of their pocket for additional things. And so for the Bear Trap, for me, I said we needed to elevate this. This is our best fans. This is the place to be seen, place where business gets done. But Friday and Saturday, it is the end all be all for the tournament.
Right.
It is now going to include beer, wine, seltzer, soda, water. So spirits and food will still be available for purchase.
Right.
But those beverages that are so important on golf days are going to be included. So you can visit thecognizantclassic.com.
Okay.
And you can learn more all about that. And as you see me around town, let's stop. Let's have a conversation. I'm open. I have one phone number. So if you've got my business card, that's my phone number. But I'd love to have a conversation, figure out how we get everybody involved. Because as we sit here today, we're 102 days away from tournament week. So
102 days.
It's no longer out.
Right.
It's here. So let's make our decisions of how we're going to support and come together come February.
Awesome. Well, thank you again.
Thank you.